What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. So for today's movie review, we are taking a look at When Evil Lurks. Now, as you've heard me mention before during my most recent movie reviews, I am working through a laundry list of films and TV series that have just been piling up. I haven't been able to get to see, especially some of the ones that are a little bit older. I have been keeping up on some of the more newer releases, but as I try to watch the newer ones, obviously it pushes back the older ones I haven't been able to get to. So as I have time, I am looking to review some of these other films that came out, within the last couple of years I just haven't been able to watch. And this is one of them. So if you haven't seen this film, I'm going to warn you now, we are going to talk some spoilers, but I'm not going to do like I normally do, which is a full end-to-end walkthrough of the film and then giving my opinion as we go. I'm just going to give a high-level summary of the film, some key points, and then give my my score or my recommendation of the movie. Again, I don't want to fully spoil it, so that's the approach I'm going to take from this point going forward with movie reviews. Now, again, spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, you still want to leave a lot of this up to you just watching the film, I would recommend, pausing it, or coming back to this video and then letting us know down in the comment section if you agree or disagree with my take, with my recommendation or score. I would love to hear from you because, again, as I've always said, I feel entertainment when it comes to movies and TV series, especially horror, is very subjective. You may like it, I may not like it, or I may like it and you may not like it. And I think this is going to be one of those films. I feel When Evil Lurks is going to be one of those, either you love it and you enjoy it, or it's just not for you and it's a one and done viewing. So let's start getting into some of the details of this film. So again, I'm going to keep it very high level as far as the summary goes. So this film follows primarily two brothers, Pedro and Jaime. Now, this is considered as far as the subgenre within horror, a supernatural horror film. Now, when I first went into this, I knew it was a supernatural horror film. Didn't know if we were going to be dealing with just an evil entity. But as I got into the film, and again, it's based on the following of these two brothers, Pedro and Jaime. It's actually more of a demonic possession. Right now, I don't want to say it's full on like the subgenre of religion, and they don't really go down that path, but it is more on the demon possessed aspect versus, I think, more on the high level supernatural. When you think of like ghost or an evil spirit, this is straight up demonic possession. So we're following these two brothers, and within this film or this world, they have these they know about demonic possession, so it's not like it's a secret. It's a well-known thing, which I thought that was an interesting take on the film. They don't shy away from that fact. Everyone knows that it's possible. Everyone knows that it exists, and the way they refer to it is in two ways. They refer to it as the rotten, or an individual could be rotten, and that's the term they use. And what that means in the film, that it is being possessed by an unborn demonic demon, awaiting to be physically born. And that's what they refer to as in the film as the rotten. Now, how they get rid of these individuals or these demonic possessions is they refer to another individual would be a cleaner, and that is a person who would kill the individual while at the same time exorcising the demon so it can't possess somebody else. So because if you just kill the individual, that demon is still alive, so to speak, and can possess either human or animal. So it can jump from whether it's an animal or person, it can jump if you don't exorcise it and kill it. So again, they don't shy away from that in the film. I thought that was interesting because usually in horror films, when we deal with demonic possession, they don't really know what to call it outside of when a Catholic priest shows up and they do the exorcism and all that. We've seen that played out in many films over the decades. I mean, you can go back to The Exorcist. They didn't know really what it was until a priest looked at the evidence and said, oh, like Regan is possessed, like from The Exorcist, right? So anyway, so we follow these two brothers, and they come across one of these rotten individuals, right? And they know what it is. They don't understand why it hasn't been resolved, like why a cleaner hasn't shown up. But they do come to find out that the cleaner that was supposed to come and take care of this individual and exorcise him has been killed by something or someone. So the whole premise of this film is to get rid of this individual and the demon that's inside of them so it doesn't jump from person to person, while at the same time Pedro and Jaime are trying to save themselves, and Jaime has 2 children with his ex-wife who is remarried and has another child, so he's obviously trying to save his 2 kids as well. As the story plays on, they try to remove this rotten individual out of this house along with the landowner. So they actually take this individual, put him in the back of a pickup truck, and they try to drive him, hundreds of miles away. Now this is the owner of the land trying to do this, thinking that this is going to solve it. He doesn't want any part of this. It's not his problem. He's just like, I just don't want it on my land, and let somebody else deal with it. But along this trip, somehow, some way, this individual falls out of the bed of the truck, and they never notice it, which I thought was kind of odd that they never realized that this person just fell out of the back of their pickup truck when one of them in the truck was supposed to be watching, making sure nothing was going to happen. But once that happens, the owner is like, oh well, not my problem, it's away from my house, I'm going home, have a nice night. So as the story plays on, though, that individual ends up dying from that, and that demonic demon moves on and possesses something else, and it possesses a goat on the land on the landowner's farm. And that's where you see this scene in this image. This is where the scene comes up, and they know, and one of the rules that they have kind of played out for these in this world is you can't kill the individual or the animal with a gun. You just can't do that. If you do that, then the demonic possession, like the bad spirit and the bad mojo, falls upon you and your loved ones. So in this particular scene, when this goat gets possessed, the landowner finds out. He goes out there with his gun. He's getting ready to kill this goat, and his wife is behind him, which is this individual here on the screen, and tells him, don't do it, you're going to damn us all. He does it anyways, and then immediately the demon possesses her. She grabs the axe and then just walks up behind him, takes him out, and then as you see here, she just starts taking the axe and right into her face a few times until she passes, and the demon now moves on. So now we're back to where Pedro and Jaime are trying to get the 2 children from the ex-wife. And this is where I think I'm going to warn you about the next bit of spoilers, but I'm also going to warn you if you decide to see this film. There is a scene that it is a bit, I don't want to say graphic. It's a bit hard to watch, especially for those who've ever been attacked by a dog, or if you've ever seen somebody attacked by a dog, anything of that nature. The next bit of part of the movie can be hard to watch. So when they show up to his ex-wife's house to get his kids, his ex-wife has a daughter, another child with her new husband, a young girl, probably 4, maybe 5 or 6. And what ends up happening is the demon possesses the dog, and the dog attacks the child. And it's pretty violent. Again, they try to show a little bit of it as far as the cut scenes back and forth, but it is kind of hard to watch. Again, so I'm forewarning you of that now. If you haven't seen the film, you decide to see it, be prepared for that. So the dog ends up taking the child out of the house and down the street, and the husband runs after to try to save his daughter, only to get there and he kills the dog with a gun. Now the spirit has now gone into the child, and the child is now back with the mother, alive, unharmed, and everything. And they're trying to figure out how is this possible, but they know it's the demon that's doing all this. So we play through all these things a few more times, and Jaime and Pedro eventually get their mother picked up, and they start to get as far out of town as possible. To one of Jaime's friends who used to, I don't know how to put this. She used to I don't want to say hunt these things, but she knows very much about these rotten individuals and what you need to do and not do in order to keep yourself protected. But when they do get there, the demon has now followed them there by jumping from various individuals, various animals, and ultimately what ends up happening is one of Pedro's sons ends up being possessed and coughs, and how he knows is he coughs up a necklace and an amount of hair from that belonged to the wife, and this destroys Pedro. He doesn't know what to do, and his brother Jaime doesn't know what to do either, because now the demon is inside his son, and his son though is autistic, so and is on a very high level of autism, so he can't speak, he can't move. And one of the ways that they knew that the demon was also there is that one of the friends, her name is Murda, advises them that once when a demon possesses someone with this condition, they don't know what to do because they can't control the individual's brain. It's like they don't know how to function. So now the demon is now stuck inside of his son because the demon now can't get out. And then the movie pretty much comes to an end after all these various individuals of the family die. So as far as my feeling about the overall film, it is a one and done for me. And you guys know that demonic possession films, you know, as far as like exorcisms, things of that nature, is and one of my favorite subgenres of horror. So when I saw this one be more of a demonic possession versus supernatural, I was into it. I was like, okay, great. I mean, and you know that within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film that's where it's going. So I was excited to see where this one was going to go. However, I felt like the film itself was almost as if they had the concept right. They had a great concept and a great story. I just don't think the execution of it felt right. I felt like there was just a bit of not enough background or storytelling to let you know how things came to be or why things are a certain way. Like, for example, you go right into the film and they just start calling these people, oh, that person's rotten. But you really don't know what that means. You have to go through a majority of the film to figure out what that means. Even the term cleaner, you don't know what that is until you get through a good portion of the film to even understand what that means, or how you get rid of people that are rotten, or how you keep a demon from possessing other people or animals. So you're kind of left in the dark to almost guess as to how they survive or how everyone knows about these things. So that was a bit, I think, a bit of a disconnect for me, because again, I'm trying to figure out those things while at the same time trying to watch the film. And keep in mind, this is a subtitle film. It is in Spanish, so that's just another element that when you're watching a subtitle film, you're obviously trying to read what's going on, you're trying to watch it, but also at the same, and then trying to understand it as well. I'm okay with subtitle films. That isn't the problem for me. I have no problem with that. Again, the problem for me is that you're going right into the film and they're already putting you in the deep end without really giving you much explanation to anything. So that was the disconnect for me. Overall, I would give it I think it was about mid for me. Again, I would give it a 3.5. Would I recommend, if you're into the supernatural, demonic possession type subgenre of horror, I would highly recommend it. Again, if you're not bothered by subtitles, I would highly recommend this film. You will probably enjoy it because, again, it does play on that aspect of jumping from human to human, or even animals as well. I thought the kills that they showed were pretty good, especially this one on the screen. Even though it was short, I thought it was a great horror type kill. I again, as I mentioned, without much explanation or story to explain things, you're left in the dark to try to figure out what's going on. So that's what really brings the score down for me. Had I have had that at the beginning, and they would have given me a little bit more of that before throwing me in the deep end, I would probably give this a 4 tops. I wouldn't give it a 4.5 or 5. It wouldn't go that high for me. 4 would be the highest I would go with that additional backstory. Without it, it's a 3.5. Is it a one and done for me? It's a one and done for me for a while, even though it falls within the subgenre I love. Would I ever come back to this one again to see if it's something that I would start to have a more appreciation or enjoyment for? Probably, but it wouldn't be one of those ones I would come back to in a couple months. It'd probably be like 6-7 months, maybe a year. I'd come back to this one, or maybe do like a watch party if various individuals I know haven't seen it. It's something they'd want to see. I would probably watch it and then. But this isn't one of those ones I'm like, oh, I feel like watching a horror movie. I feel like watching this type of subgenre. I'm going to put this one in because I've already seen it and I know I enjoy it. It's not one of those. It's going to be further down my list of the subgenre that I would pick. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up for my review of this one. Again, I'm giving it a 3.5. Supernatural horror film with again, the demonic possession added into it. I wish it would have had a little bit more background story to get me up to speed versus just throwing me into the deep end. And again, I thought the marketing for this particular kill is really what was trying to sell people on this. And then going into it, and I don't think many people even realize it's subtitled. So again, if you're going to watch it, go into it knowing it is subtitled as well. Where you can find this film, if you have Shudder, it is available on Shudder. That's where I viewed it, so that's where you can find it. I'm sure you can find it in other places to either purchase or rent. I would not recommend purchasing this film. I would recommend either renting it, or if you have Shudder, watching it on Shudder first before you decide if you wanted to purchase it outright to have a digital copy, or if it is available on physical, even from that perspective as well. So that's going to do it for my review. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you rate it higher? Do you rate it lower? Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? And if you haven't seen it, are you interested in seeing it? Again, let me know down in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you at the next one. Peace.